Well, today we're going to look at a new framework that promises to show us the whole truth about drug stability. And that's the real challenge, you see. Traditional stability tests, they can be kind of misleading. I mean, they might show a drug is 99% pure, but what if they're hiding some subtle breakdown that could be a real problem later on? So what if there was a way to actually see that hidden story? Well, there is. It's a framework called SmartMB. And here it is, exactly how SmartMB works. It's a really sophisticated approach that goes way beyond a simple pass or fail and gives us a much more truthful, real-world picture of a drug's quality. So what's the secret sauce? What makes SmartMBs so, well, smart? It all starts with the standard way we calculate drug stability. But then, and this is key, it adjusts that calculation with two really crucial new factors. And these factors account for all those real-world uncertainties. Okay, so the whole framework is built on three main parts. First, you've got the standard analytical mass balance, or AMB. You can think of that as just an accounting of all the stuff in the drug. But then it adds two new things, the detection score and the security adjustment factor. And honestly, these last two are where the magic really happens. Detection score, because this is the real game changer. It's built on a very simple truth. Not all testing methods are the same. Some are just better than others. So it asks a really critical question. How much can we really trust our tools to find everything that could be going wrong here? And this really drives the point home. You know, a basic method like a standard HPLC, it might totally miss some breakdown products just because they don't absorb UV light. But then you have a more advanced method, something like a highly sensitive liquid chromatography mass spectrometry, and that can spot pretty much everything. The detection score is what puts a number on that difference.
So here's how it works. The DS gives you a multiplier based on the tech you're using. If you're using a top-of-the-line LCMS method, your confidence is very high, and you get a full 1.0 multiplier. Makes sense, right? But if you use a less sensitive method, that multiplier drops, which directly bakes the reliability of your test right into the final score. And that brings us to the final piece, the SAF. This one's super straightforward. It's just a pure measure of how much the drug has actually degraded. It's a simple percentage that tells you how much of the main drug is gone, and it's totally separate from how well we can even see it. Okay, so theory is great, but let's see how this thing actually performs in the real world. This is where we get to see the impact. We're going to look at a study on a pretty common blood pressure medicine called amlodipine, and what they did was a forced degradation study. That's just a fancy way of saying scientists intentionally put the drug under stress to see exactly how it breaks down. So if you just use the old traditional calculation, you get a result of 94.5%. And, at first glance, you think, hey, that looks great. It's definitely in what most people would call an acceptable range, but that number is hiding something. See, the test they used for amlodipine used something called a PDA detector. It's a solid tool for sure, but it's not perfect. Because of that, it gets a detection score multiplier of 0.85. That number is basically a confession of, hey, we're pretty confident, but not 100% confident this test can see everything. And this is where it all comes together. We take that traditional result, the 94.5%, and we multiply it by our new confidence score, the detection score. It's such a simple calculation, but wow, is it powerful. And boom, there it is. The final SmartMB score is 80.3%. So that really optimistic 94.5% we saw at first, it gets adjusted way down to reflect the reality of the test they actually used. This is a much more honest number. Okay, so we have a new number, but a number by itself doesn't mean much unless you know what to do with it, right? And that's another place where SmartMB really shines. It gives you super clear, simple guidelines for making decisions. It's really simple and direct. If your score is over 85%, you're in the green. It's reliable, you can accept it. If it's below 70%, that's a red flag. It's a poor result, and you absolutely need to investigate. And that area in the middle, between 70 and 85, that's your yellow light. It's telling you, hey, you should probably optimize this testing method. So remember our amlodipine case? That 80.3% score falls right into that borderline yellow light zone. It's a clear signal to go back and fine-tune the method. But now, look at this other case with a different drug, ranitidine. Here, they used an even less sensitive test, and the SmartMB score just plummeted to 56.8%. That's deep in the poor category, and it correctly flagged a huge issue where some really harmful stuff was being missed. So, let's step back. Why does all of this matter? What's the real ultimate value of using a framework like SmartMB?
Well, here's the big picture. SmartMB gives you a much more honest answer because it forces everyone to be real about the limits of their tools. It helps you figure out, is the drug actually degrading, or is our test just not good enough to see the full picture? And by giving that clear, actionable guidance, it helps scientists catch those invisible problems long before they can become a real danger.
And experts are saying the same thing. It's like it closes that gap between what we hope our tests can find and what our tools can actually show us. It's a really vital step forward in making sure the methods we use to check drug quality are actually up to the job.
So at the end of the day, SmartMB is just a more reliable, more transparent, and yeah, a smarter way to make sure the medicines we all rely on are safe. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other hidden risks are lurking out there in drug development that could be brought to light if we just applied this kind of smart, reality-based thinking everywhere?